Hi everyone and welcome to another channeled messages reading. These messages are based on divine synchronicity, so if you might have asked for any kind of guidance in the very recent past, there is a very small chance that maybe the answer or a guidance awaits you in this reading, so just take what resonates and what applies to your personal situation and simply discard or ignore the rest. Now for the first message we have the Hangman reversed and clarified by the Seven of Pentacles reversed. Now this message speaks about someone who has taken a massive leap of faith in the past, but of course not so distant past. It could be last year or in the past 3 years, but anyway, it has much to do with either a project, a business, or a personal passion. And what everyone has in common, that this was like a joint decision which you took under the influence of very strong divine guidance. Now this could be like recurring dreams or certain messages or visions, or maybe just a very strong intuitive perception where the divine guided you in a very direct, unmistakable manner to follow either your passion, start your project, invest everything you have into something. But of course that something is very important because you are actually skilled at it, you're very good at it, it makes a lot of sense. There is a very strong financial and any kind of potential in there. And of course, the Seven of Pentacles reversed. You have invested a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifices, some people a lot of resources, including money, into it. And the fact that it almost started building itself, and at least informationally or practically regarding your skills and whatever you had and still have to do, well, it was pretty miraculous because it flowed like water, like air. It just came, inspiration, what to do, every piece of the puzzle came to you. So the construction part, the building part, the investment part, the part where it had to produce very powerful effects, now that worked like a charm. And there is no shadow of a doubt that was truly the influence of the universe. But there is a problem, because when you made the decision to follow your passion or actually go out there and do it, whatever it is, I repeat, it could be a project, it could be a personal hobby, it could be, putting your skills and talents to value. Maybe, for example, maybe you had very strong artistic talents, but you had no idea that you were that good until you actually tried it. So it could be anything like this, where basically, the Hangman reverse, uncovering your hidden potential, your hidden talent, your hidden blessings. And of course, it worked. It was totally accurate, your guidance. You could see very palpable results. You even surprised yourself. You overcame your own condition, your limitations. So this part of your story is very uplifting, almost miraculous. You can't say any bad word because whatever was promised to you actually happened beyond your expectations. But there was also a material part attached to it, where you either were promised through the same divine guidance that materially you would be okay, you would be stable, your basic needs would be met, things would work out just fine. Of course, this doesn't mean luxury, infinite prosperity, becoming a big star, or, a VIP or anything like that. Neither that your business or project or whatever this is would bear so much fruits that you just couldn't contain it. So from this perspective, you were actually realistic from the very beginning. You knew that it wasn't gonna be like a massive turn of fortune or anything like that, but you kind of hoped, and deep inside yourself you knew that at least it would take care of all your problems, and you would have the decency to keep on investing your passions, and of course to grow, to evolve, to become very relevant in that domain or in that specific activity. And on one hand, you truly had the admiration, recognition, or a very, very positive feedback from other people, even people who are actually veterans at what you started. So that part was very uplifting. It was truly something that made you feel true gratitude deep inside your heart. But the material aspect is still not functioning, or not as stable, not as grounded, not as real or manifested as you would actually need it in your life. And then I repeat, you're absolutely not greedy. You don't have any false expectations. It's nothing to do with illusions or idealism or naivety, because you were, from the very first moment, you knew that it was not gonna be very easy, and you also knew that it would take some time until things started to function, until, at least materially, things would be stable enough to allow you a decent life. Now, despite your success, why the material part of it isn't a reality, this is where it is something different for different people. For some, it is simply a matter of divine timing. This part has absolutely nothing to do with you. You did everything that you could. The divine doesn't even fault whatsoever anything that you have done, any choices that you have made. It is fully aware of your investment. It is fully aware of everything that you have sacrificed. And at the same time, it is also fully aware that you are starting to seriously question things right now. But all it can do is somehow support you, even if it means a trail of breadcrumbs, until that fated moment occurs, because that fated moment simply doesn't depend on you at all. In this present moment, it is absolutely out of your hands, out of your willpower, out of your sphere of influence. It either depends on other people, or it either depends on something that has to take place in outer reality. But one thing is for sure, the divine actually wants you to wait, wants you to be a little bit more patient. And actually, the hangman reverse can represent rebellion, revolution, where you embody the archetype of the nonconformist who says enough is enough. I have waited more than it is fair and equitable. So where is the solution to my future, basically? Well, in this case, the divine actually allows you to rebel, to release some steam, to express your dissatisfaction and your frustration. And it will definitely not penalize you whatsoever, even if you're starting to descend into a kind of negativity, because what was promised to you, it is still coming. But as I said, the only thing it cannot influence is free will. So basically it is a case of quantum entanglement, when the realities or the minds or the destinies, call it whatever you want, of the other players who should act like a domino, basically, because your work does benefit someone, something. So it is that chain reaction that you're actually waiting for, and it is still coming. But since it's a question of free will, that domino piece, symbolically speaking, who has to start this, well, it has to take the initiative to actually do something or take action, or however this has to come into existence. And the only thing the divine can do is to send guidance and inspiration, through the inner voice and intuition, just like it did in your case, naturally. But other people are not as receptive or open as you were, so it's really a question of when it sinks in for them. And when it does, well, it's gonna happen very quickly, and all your worries are gonna be a thing of the past in a couple of seconds. And then your business or project or hobby or whatever you have invested into is gonna run like clockwork, and there it is. Now, for other people, why the material part isn't stabilizing, now that depends on something totally else. It actually depends on a person who you have in your life, but that person has absolutely nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with your project, ambition, passion, or the divine guidance or whatever. It is just a person who is in your life, and you feel much compassion, honor, respect for this person. It can be a very good friend, it can be any kind of ally, business partner, or romantic partner, or whatever. And if your project or whatever this was for you would turn into a massive success, well, you naturally would share everything with your loved ones, including this person. Just that you really don't know who this person is deep inside of them, and the universe is just waiting for them to show their true colors. And after they do, well, then you can make your own decisions, your own conclusions, if you want to eliminate them from your life, or if you want to keep them, but you cannot actually share your blessings with them because they're very unworthy. And the problem here is that they may pose as a disadvantaged person in the eyes of everyone, but the truth is they're doing more than okay. They're so selfish that their materialized or every area of their lives is more than prosperous, more than fantastic, because they're doing so very well, just that they're almost keeping it a secret because they simply enjoy playing the disadvantaged person, the victim, etc. So the universe is just waiting for you to see who they truly are. And as I said, this has nothing to do with your lack of vision or clarity, because why would you suspect them? Why would your intuition even warn you when you are an empathic, compassionate person and you don't judge anyone? But after this person will expose themselves for who they truly are, well, then the karma and the course of fate will just start completing itself, as in karmic completion, the harvest. But you may ask yourself, well, why is this so very important? Like, it's not the end of the world if you would share your blessings, even with an unworthy person. But this has to do with your own soul and your own decision in life, because you were a victim to this archetype in the past, and you promised yourself never ever to be naive once again, never ever to be used, never ever to be deceived. And basically the universe is helping you to protect yourself. And if this is the cost, this is the cost. But what has to complete in your life, it is still coming. It is just a question of time. And the other thing is that this is so very important for you and for your soul, especially because you followed divine guidance, you followed your intuition, your inner voice. So the universe would definitely not want you to feel even the slightest disappointment, because it took a lot of courage for you to do this. So that's why the end result has to be worthy of your actions. And sharing your blessing with someone who is totally unworthy, it cannot be part of your journey. And you shouldn't really think about who this person is. You shouldn't really start splitting the hair in four, thinking that by becoming aware you can cheat divine timing, because you can't. You just have to allow. You have to allow everyone in your life to be who they truly are, and they will demask themselves very, very quickly. Trying to, do the detective work is actually self-defeating. So don't even try and go there. Don't even try to investigate, to start thinking about this. Just allow it, and that's it. Moving on to the second message, we have the Ten of Pentacles clarified by the Three of Cups. Now this is a really, really beautiful message, because the Ten of Pentacles represents a large sum of money. But the funny thing is that you don't really need it for yourself, as in for your personal situation or whatever. You actually are contemplating this or asking this from the universe because you have a very, very noble dream. For example, to open a charity or a non-profit organization, or to support a charity, or to support something that is doing a very, very good job in the world, something humanitarian, something based on compassion, something really, really beautiful and noble. And the person who you are is not the merchant archetype, or is not someone who has access to big money, big wealth, big financial resources. So that is exactly why you have asked the universe, because you know full well that that kind of money is simply not accessible to you, and neither do you want to pursue it. But your dream of being part of that activity, that humanitarian type of activity, may that be like saving animals or planting trees or something really, really positive and really beautiful like this, or helping the elderly or a children's home, whatever this might be. It would make you so very happy. It would be like a dream come true. It would be like an ultimate moment of bliss in your destiny. And that's why you actually ask the universe to help you any way it can. Well, chances are that that Three of Cups represents that the universe is actually reacting to your will. It doesn't think that your dream is naive or silly or anything like that. And it will help you either through some kind of divine guidance, because the Three of Cups is inspiration. It can be dreams, divine messages. It can also take the shape and form of another human being, a friend, or even a total stranger who speaks something or communicates something, and you can see beyond their messages. Pay close attention to what you perceive, what you pick up on, what you dream, synchronicities, or what other people communicate to you. Because the universe might be actually sending you the means, the inspiration to how to get where you want to be, how to get that money or how to get that support. It may not be your dream 1,000,000% coming into existence the way you think, as in millions of dollars or a big sum of money like that. But it can guide you how to contribute, how to become relevant, how to start, or where it is that you have to seek support. Because for some people, it can be, for example, like dreaming the lottery numbers, and then there you have what you have asked for, and you will know what to do with that money, as in you have to keep your end of the bargain, and there's no problem with this. While for other people, maybe it can be joining like a charitable activity, like a fundraising, which would greatly exceed your wildest dreams. For others, it could be actually convincing a very influential or a very, very wealthy person to support or aid that noble cause. While for others, it can be accessing a grant from the government or any kind of scheme, support or aid. For example, here in Europe, we have the European funds. Or the Three of Cups can also represent community, your friends, people who really, really love you. So they might come together, your local community might come together and just believe in your dream and make it happen. Your dream can be their dream, so if people join forces, well then very very quickly they can make everything come true. Because the idea is it's not about you, it is about the charitable thing that you want to do. So basically, the essence of this message is that the universe is on it. It received your message. It kind of, if this is a valid thing to say, it kind of likes it very, very much. Your dream actually delights the divine intelligence, so naturally it will do its part. So even if your dream right now seems a little bit surreal, impossible to accomplish, like too good to be true, don't give up, because the universe works in mysterious ways, especially when the main theme is compassion. So be patient, because slowly but surely I am very confident that you will get where you want to be. Now moving on to the next message, we have the Four of Cups reversed, clarified by the Five of Cups reversed. Now this might go out for someone who is in a kind of spiritual crisis. Just that this crisis is not about what you believe, it is not really about any philosophical element to it, as in your inner truth or whatever. It is simply your connection to the divine, which all of a sudden, without too much explanation, has stopped, has frozen. It's not there. The dreams, the synchronicities, the guidance, the intuition, the divine presence, that aura of magic basically has stopped, and you have absolutely no idea why. You might think maybe you have done something, maybe you have made a mistake, maybe you have exaggerated, or maybe you kind of enhanced your abilities a little bit through escapism, and you're starting to worry and really, really wonder of what exactly is going on, because it makes absolutely no sense to you. There wasn't any trigger, there wasn't anything to produce this. You were absolutely fine, even more than fine. You were really, really enjoying, being connected to everything. You were really, really enjoying, living your spiritual dream every single day, every single moment. But the message for you, the Five of Cups reversed, it's not really over until the fat lady sings. Not everything is as it seems. Yes, absolutely, this silence, so to speak, this disconnection is in your life, but it has nothing to do with you. The universe is actually preparing something. Now, what that something is, well, it might be you stepping up to a totally new level. It could also be you receiving some kind of very, very personal contact with, how should I even say this? A very direct manifestation of the divine intelligence, maybe a spirit, maybe a very shocking, almost paranormal activity that you're gonna witness, maybe extraterrestrial contact of any kind. But either way, whatever is stirring up, whatever is brewing, it will be shocking, of course in a pleasant way, and it will definitely wipe you off your feet. You are definitely not gonna expect or even dream about the contact that you're going to get. And it even reveals that the reason why in this last cycle, so to speak, the spiritual side of the world was so very active and almost wild in your life was to prepare you for this moment. So basically, you are in for a massive surprise. Whatever you're gonna experience, whatever is gonna, take place in your life, is going to totally change all of your perceptions, all of your beliefs. It is going to totally change the way you think, feel, and see reality and everything in it. Now moving on to the next message, this is also dual, so it means something totally else for different people. Now the first version is for a female, it is for a lady who might have in the very recent past lost a pregnancy or something equally as dramatic. Maybe they have tried to have a child but it just doesn't happen, or as I said earlier, maybe they lost the pregnancy. And on one hand, well, it is naturally something that produces incomprehensible suffering to someone who wants to become a mother. So from a very human and non-spiritual psychological perspective, well, this is naturally a very tough period, a very hard time, because you just have to process all of this. It's definitely not easy. But from a spiritual perspective, the universe might tell you that this was not really a coincidence. It had a very good reason, because if you would have, went through till the end with this pregnancy, it would have compromised your health in a way that it would have affected all your waking life. And that's why I think the spirit of the child who you had to give life to just chose that maybe another time would be more appropriate, where you could have your cake and eat it, so to speak, symbolically. Because a spirit, when not born yet, it has infinite sight, it can see past, present, future, it is almost omnipresent. So it basically made the decision that there is no reason why you should suffer, why you should have backlashes because you decided to have the child or keep this pregnancy. So it's good news, really. Of course, this will not take away your suffering. This doesn't help you whatsoever right now, but this will happen in a later date in the future, where this future pregnancy, which will bear the same spirit, well, chances are that both you and your child are going to be absolutely fine, and that is why this happened. But you wanted to become a mother so very badly that, the universe gave you your will, but this is where the spirit of your child decided, well, even if this will hurt you right now, it's still better to have a happy future for both of you than just to give way to your will, give way to your desire, and pay for it. Of course, this has nothing to do with impatience or anything, because, the moon represents water, so it is your hormones. When the biological clock is ticking, that, well, your body decided it's a perfect time for you to become a mom, you have to act on that. That is such a powerful instinct that, the spiritual aspect or whatever has no influence, no chance against it, but the spirit of your child does have an influence, and it tells you that it's absolutely fine, you will definitely have your chance. So you will meet in this lifetime. No, there is no doubt about this. Now, for a totally different version of this message, it actually goes out for a male who thinks that they found the love of their lives, a very uplifting, inspirational, beautiful, attractive lady entered their lives, and they are starting to be very, very happy and joyful and plan the long distance future. But this is where the spirit warns them that they actually attracted someone extremely toxic, and they should wait before they make any plans. And that's about it. But of course, as a side note, you might be someone who embodies the most gentle qualities of the divine masculine. You want to treat every woman, every female in your life as a goddess, as someone very worthy, as someone who you worship. And that is absolutely beautiful. But just that a goddess, or a very positive and uplifting expression of the divine feminine, is infinitely understanding. She is nurturing and compassionate, and not a toxic, demanding, self-centered person. So this will be a valuable lesson to you, that there are some times when you just have to stand up for yourself, because you can treat a woman according to your own life views and principles, and that's absolutely fine because she'll benefit from it. But when you don't get anything back, quite the opposite, well, that is the moment when you have to separate. When you have to say that this isn't what I desire in my life, this isn't what I am projecting onto the world, this isn't what I am giving, so I don't deserve to receive anything less that I actually offer to the world, to another person, to a potential partner. So this teaches you equilibrium, equality. Being a protector for your partner, being the supreme representation of what the divine masculine is, well, that doesn't involve feeding someone's ego excessively. And by allowing this, by actually supporting this, you're just telling that person that they are always entitled to be treated like a queen, even when they deserve the total opposite. So this is the saying where the road to hell is truly paved with good intention. Now the last and final message, we have the 10 of Cups reversed, clarified by the 7 of Cups. Now this goes out for someone who has abandoned an old relationship, a long-term relationship, but they may still be in contact with their old partners, with their ex-partner, and the relationship between them is not negative, it is not vengeful, it's not anything like that, but you can clearly perceive, see in everything, in every gesture, that your ex-partner still longs for you, and they still suffer, it's not over for them, etc. And this might leave you feel a little bit guilty, and they're always in your thoughts, but not in a very positive manner, because you feel guilty for something that, it's not under your influence, it's not under your control. If you would have been very happy in that relationship, if you had been compatible, then you'd be still together, wouldn't you? So, this is a case of incompatibility. When, that person doesn't really complete you, when they psychologically mean absolutely nothing to you, they don't offer you anything, as in, energy, as in the archetype, as in to bring out the very, very best in you, and neither can you do the same because you're simply incompatible. Well, then that relationship is not going to be healthy ever. And chances are, if you just tolerate it, both of you are going to be unhappy, and neither of you deserve unhappiness. You actually deserve happiness, because both of you are very lovely, positive, compassionate people. But the only fault here is that you were never compatible. Only your wounded selves made you seem like you're compatible. But now that at least you are healed, you shouldn't really feel guilty, because it is what it is. When two elements are not compatible, well, isn't forcing their compatibility a greater crime than just, having a separate existence? So basically, swallowing unhappiness and intoxicating your soul with it is a much bigger crime than, just saying no, enough is enough. Even when you can't actually fault that person with anything else than unhappiness. So basically, the universe advises you, well, if this person would have learned anything from you, well, that is that everyone can take care of themselves emotionally, and their happiness does not depend on another person. And love shouldn't be an emotional codependency, because that is almost like a drug. Love should be just love, and that's it. Well, thank you so much for listening. Wish everyone a blessed and safe day. Until next time, bye for now.